agree 100%. King Kong has to have an axe because Godzilla freaking throws fire at his mouth. Come on.
Dude, but are they
tomato?
They made King Kong the same size as Godzilla this time?
Yeah.
Because
I guess they kind of said that he wasn't fully grown in the King Kong movie anyways. So.
Oh, all right.
Because. Nah, not allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, so welcome back. Okay, welcome back. All right, everybody calm down. Welcome back to the podcast. Those are words that have been said. This may get cut, it may not get cut. Who knows? Like the Zack Snyder cut. Those are words out of my mouth. So today we got Nick again for the Bot Life podcast, and then we brought in Miguel. Shout out Miguel, the strong man, lifter of stones, a lot stronger than me. He's like, he'll punch you in the mouth. Just kidding. But no, he is because we've been talking. Yeah, he will. He's a friendly face, but make no mistake, boom when you're not looking. Like
no, while you're looking.
Oh, while you're looking too.
While you're looking.
Because we've been talking about like the Beaumont podcast. Yeah, that's a new podcast coming out. But like the Beaumont trip, it's always been a thing, the Beaumont trip, and Miguel being a part of the Beaumont trip. I mean, we originally want to get Jusslin here too, to just get the different perspectives, like how the Beaumont trip was like for everybody. So I guess we can kind of start off there.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask Miguel too because we brought this up the last time we were talking.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy to think how young we were when we went out to that first trip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I think of how long it's been, and what is it, like 16, 15 years maybe?
Yeah.
And we were still in high school. Nick, you were younger than us. I don't know. Were you like a freshman in middle school?
No. Nick brought up the ages, and he was saying like, dude, isn't it crazy? I was like 12 years old, and I was like 16 at the time, and we're all sharing apartments together in a different city.
Yeah.
And it's like when you hear those numbers in here, it sounds really sus,
Yeah, man.
No, yeah, but you're right. I think I was like in 6th grade.
Yeah, and that's because we went twice. So I think we were even a lot younger the first time we went. And to be honest, I don't even remember how old I was at that time. I want to say maybe like 14 or 15, something like that.
I wanted, because we went in the summer. I want to say. Summer? I can't remember.
I think it was summer because it was
after a hurricane. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in the summer, but for sure, I think I was going into 6th grade, and I was 12 at the time.
Yeah,
I just remember the picture of me moving the lawnmower, and I was all like super tiny. I think the lawnmower outpowered me.
Yeah, I remember that too, man. When we were going and cutting people's grass, just going out there. Yeah, man, those were some good times. You all remember who actually went the first time and stuff like that?
Charles,
did your brother go?
Like, no, it was. I know it was you two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Joel went the first time.
No. I don't think so.
Louis. Sam. You guys remember Sam? Not Sam. Steven.
Okay. Because I was like, Sam, that's the wrong. Because I kept saying Steven last time.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember a face to the name.
Steven. He only went the first time. I think after that, he was already a senior or something, and he got into college in Sacramento. I remember we kept telling him that he was going to SAC because that was that's how you abbreviate Sacramento, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something that we would always, you know, be making fun of. And Toby went. I remember
Yeah.
Toby.
Mhm.
For sure.
And then while we were there, Jared
Was with us hanging out.
Mhm.
came along for the ride. Yeah. So it was, I think it was what, like six of us, six or
Maybe.
seven of us with
Maybe.
Justin.
Toby. Justin makes, well, I mean, yeah, 7.
Yeah, just
Seven
makes
would-
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
That's the one person I forgot, Louis.
Yeah,
Because
Louis.
we
Yeah.
were trying to talk about it last time, and Louis is the one that we forgot that also went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
So
did we get-
Louis was there. And yeah, that was the first time. That's when we were helping out clean up that church that
Where
the
you-
hurricane had.
Where you
just
stabbed
swept
yourself
away,
with the
man.
nail?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. You know, like I didn't feel the pain till I was like, what the hell? And I just remembered moving my hand down and like something was still stuck to it, and I looked at the bottom and it was a nail.
Because Nick was telling me like you were trying to like pretend like you were shooting a gun, right? You're like, oh, dude, check it out.
Like
Oh.
putting in the magazine, and then all of a sudden, like a nail came in and it was stuck. And you know, like after that, I didn't know what was going on, man. Like I just remember it didn't even. I was like,
Didn't register.
yeah, just that pain.
So did the board get stuck? Like you just bang, then you just let go, and then it was just still in your arm, like the whole board.
Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, like I know that when it came out, you know, the nail was still stuck. Well,
Oh.
I felt like if the nail was still stuck, but you know,
Maybe, were you wearing a glove? Were we wearing gloves that day?
no,
No, we were
wasn't
not wearing gloves at
anything,
all.
man.
Dude, just think about the craziness of it all. We're just like grabbing just dead wood with nails in them and just tossing them, no gloves, no nothing.
Yeah. So that went down, man. That's
Did we
that,
even? Did you just kind of walked away from that too? Like we didn't clean it. You didn't put anything on it.
no, I just kind of just like whatever. It happened, and I just continued, you know, cleaning up and stuff.
Put some dirt and mud in it, it'll be all right. Who needs a tetanus
Yeah.
shot? We got real grit over here, okay? This is back in our day, okay?
Man, it always just trips me out because of how young we were. Like the first trip that we went out there was so untamed. It felt more raw than anything. And then the second time we went out, it felt like there was like more rules. It was a lot safer, and it wasn't as fun.
Right.
I think that was more partly because there was girls involved.
Yeah,
And it wasn't
more of the
just
church.
Jusslin. Yeah, and it wasn't just Jusslin. Like you know, so I mean, there had to be some kind of structure. I guess you know. And then we had Nicole's mom there, so she was kind of like one of those. What's it called? So she was like one of those leaders of the church that kind of like, oh snap, you know, like we gotta behave ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably saw the video from like when they were planning the second trip. They probably saw the video from the first trip, and they're like, okay, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. I think for sure we got the video of you jumping off the bridge.
Yeah.
I want to say we got that.
The infamous bridge jump.
Yeah.
Miguel, did you jump off or were you just off on the side? You were just off on the side, right?
No, I didn't. I did end up jumping.
What led up to the bridge jump? Do y'all remember? Like what? How did we get to that point?
Because I remember Jusslin taking us there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, people swim in this river, and some people jump off the bridge, right?" So that was kind of what led into, from what I remember, led into everyone doing it. Or I think it was you're the one that did it, Trey.
No, I think it was like Jared did it. Jared did it
Yeah,
first.
Jared was the first
Jared
one to
did
do
it
it.
first. Yeah, and then you went in after, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was Jared and then you, and I think when you went in and couldn't swim, Miguel was like, "I gotta save him," and then he jumped off too.
Yeah, because everyone was just like looking, and then I thought, oh, Jared's gonna go in there after him, like he's already in there, and I didn't see anyone moving, so I was like, dude, all right, well, let's see what's up. So I went in there and without a second thought, because I wasn't planning to jump, to be honest with you. I mean, I wanted to, but I saw like the current and stuff. I'm like, nah, I don't. I'll just be out here.
Not smarter than me.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, dude, like, and I don't know. I guess like I'm just one of those people that
Just does it.
just goes and does it. I didn't even think about it, and and by the time I knew it, when I got to Trey, I was already getting winded,
Yeah.
And that's when that boat came in, and he's like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus, dude. This boat saved my life right now."
Dude, saved both of us lives.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to like just imagine the context, right? That knowing what we know now. Imagine like we all in a bus, all in a van, driving by a bridge. Hey, people jump off that bridge. Let's pull off to the side and let's jump off that bridge.
Yeah.
And we're all super young. Imagine being 25 like Justin. You got a van full of like 15, 12-year-olds like, hey, let's go jump off a bridge. And then we jump off a bridge. Starting off, Justin, we're talking about just this entire Beaumont trip, but we're talking about like we're really reflecting upon it. Nick brought up the good point that just the age difference and how wild it was just to hear the numbers. Like Nick, if you think about it, like Nick was 13, I was 16. You were like 25 at the time, right, Justin?
Yeah, something like that. That is crazy. I didn't think about that because we all had the same mental state.
Yeah.
No matter what age we were.
Yeah.
We all had the mental state of a 12-year-old.
Of a 13-year-old.
There you go.
We were all on Nick's level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
We were talking about just to give you a quick recap, Justin. Right now, we're just talking about like just how crazy the bridge jump was, and just how crazy like the sketch and everything was. Like,
I definitely thought I was going to lose at least two of you guys. I remember. Hold on. So there was. What happened with the seatbelt? Was that part of the jump or no? That was a different episode.
The seatbelt.
Didn't you almost die by a seatbelt? Also.
Oh, that was on the way, I think, to the trip. I think it might have been.
You got choked out by a seatbelt.
Wait, was that Louis? Was that Louis?
You don't remember that?
I vaguely remember that.
I remember because there was more than one occurrence where Trey almost died. It wasn't just the bridge.
Okay, so there was the seatbelt.
Yeah, life was out to get me, huh? Damn.
The full seatbelt. I know the bridge, and then Trey, you even said that someone threw a piece of wood in the truck,
right.
and it like almost hit you. It was a nail.
Was it Toby?
Yeah,
Toby.
Toby.
It was like, okay, we're stockpiling the wood piles, and like Toby was just throwing it overshot it, and then it almost nicked me in the head. After it missed me, all I heard on the other side of the trailer was like, "Hey, Toby, here's a gun." Ah! Here we go. Oh!
And he stabbed himself. With a nail. He was pretending to load a wooden gun, and there's a nail in the bottom of it, and he stabbed himself. And then he pulled his hands back, and he was like, stigmata.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean,
so somebody give him the bridge rundown and the jump, because I remember that Trey was involved, and I remember Miguel, but I want to hear a recap real quick so I can remember.
We
lost Nick.
So
the bridge jump?
Yeah,
Jared was the first one to do the bridge jump. You took us out there because I think you were like, yeah, when we were younger, we would just jump off this bridge.
And then we pulled over the side of the bridge and then just jumped off the bridge.
Jared was the first one though. Jared was like, I'm gonna go. I did it. He swims, and then I think there's like a concrete slab in the middle of the river or the canal.
Yep.
And then off goes Trey.
Yeah. So now I remember because
And look-
Trey jumps with devil horns on each hands and screaming like only the good die young. You know? And I'm like, man,
Allegedly.
Trey must be a champion swimmer. And then next thing you know, he's coming up and he's like, I can't swim. And we're like, why would you jump?
To be fair,
Why would you jump so boldly?
to be fair, Jared said don't jump in the current, and the way it was blowing, I landed in the current. So, to my defense,
In your defense, I jumped the right direction. The wind blew me in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
exactly.
I understand that, but
Oh man! And I was off
The
on the
wind
side
is-
praying. I was like, Jesus,
yeah.
don't have my friend die today.
So
So then I remember Miguel jumped in after him, right?
Yep.
Now, were you on the concrete slab or were you on the bridge?
No, I jumped off the bridge. I didn't see any, because what I remember was Trey, like, like panicking and stuff, and then I'm like, dude, no one's moving to go save this guy. So
it's like, thanks, guys.
I ran on the bridge and I jumped off, and I remember getting Trey, and then trying to swim to where Jared was, because Jared was still on the concrete slab, just kind of like, all right, guys, you can do it, And I was already getting winded, and all of a sudden this boat just comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, come on, hang on." So we hung on for dear life, and then they just took us back to shore, like, to the bank, and that's pretty much what I remember.
So telling that from somebody who was sitting on the bank, all I remember is Trey, like, either nowhere to be found, or he was struggling to swim something. And I remember you jumping in after him, and then I remember both of y'all just like disappearing for a minute. And I was like, "Where the crap are these guys at?" And this boat came out of nowhere, and I remember that, but I never saw him stop for y'all because y'all were underwater or something. And I just saw the boat pass by, and y'all were nowhere to be seen. I was like, "Where the crap are these guys at? Like, what the crap?" And then the boat pulls up, and I see both y'all hanging on the side of the boat, and I'm like, "Oh my God! Oh my God!"
Yeah, I think we were on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we couldn't see y'all.
Yeah, y'all couldn't see us, so we
didn't know you were
opposite
saved.
side.
We were just crying on the side. I was on the side with Toby because Toby couldn't swim, and so he was with me, also a non-swimmer. I couldn't swim either. And I'm just over here, like, just praying. Like, I'm like, oh my God, my friends are dead. Like, I gotta pray.
I remember that. Because I remember Nick like bowing his head, and he got real serious. He's like, "God, listen to me. If I've ever talked to you before, this is the time I need you to hear me."
Oh man, yeah, dude. But that's, man. Now that you guys give me your perspectives, I kind of remember it more vividly. Like,
I remember,
I
remember quickly, like, coming to shore, like, after the whole thing stopped, just Justin's, like, mindset, like, dude, I thought I was going to jail. I'm going to get written up. I was going to trip. They gave me the trust. 2 kids died. I'm done for. I mean, what are you guys doing here? This is a stupid idea. I'm just going up everything.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So now that y'all are adults, I hope you can appreciate my position a little bit better in that situation.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of your perspective, I mean, that's why I kind of like wanted to get it started. Like, well, like, how did, like, so go back to the beginning? How did the whole Beaumont trip started? And like, from your perspective, like the entire first trip, because what we've been discussing is the second trip was more tamed. The first trip was like super wing it, untamed, just load and go, let's go. So from your perspective, so how did it all get started, and then from all the craziness?
Oh, and I do want to.
So I
do want to add this also into it. And did you think it was crazy that you were going to take just 16-year-olds to this trip?
Stay in a sketchy hotel.
When you say it like that,
I know, right? It sounds super sketchy.
when you say it like that,
Okay. Go ahead and answer that.
Go ahead and answer that. Thanks. They put me on the spot there, Nick. No, but I mean, yeah. Looking back, I honestly wonder why I was allowed to be a leader at all. Like, there's just so many questionable decisions that people should have been like, "Hey, man, maybe you should just slow down with leadership." Like. But I remember, how many were on the first trip that we took?
I recall 7, like 7 of us.
7.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which was.
And is that when we stayed in that sketchy hotel?
Yes. Very much so.
Yes.
I should not
The
have
pizza
been there.
man wanted to come inside and chill.
Oh yeah.
Y'all remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was
And
a Domino's guy, right?
Yeah, and Toby was in his boxers, and he's like, "No, man, he can't come in." He's like, I'm in my boxers.
Oh
Yeah, I
forgot.
I remember that, man. No,
But
Yeah,
yeah,
because-
so looking back and saying, that an adult took a bunch of teenagers by himself to a crack hotel where the freaking pizza man tried to make a move on Toby. I really, it kind of makes me question everything. Now I'm like, what were we even doing? What was the purpose?
Exactly. Take a
What
white
was the spiritual
van.
gain? Yeah. I was like, you know what, guys? I want to introduce y'all to real life real quick. Let's go to Beaumont.
No kidding, dude.
Damn it.
Y'all remember when we went? Do y'all remember when we went like late one night or something like that in the van to that wildlife refuge?
We
Well,
did.
Oh,
Me and Trey didn't go.
yeah, me and Nick stayed behind. It was Miguel.
yeah. So I think it was just you and
Me,
I,
you, and Toby?
Toby. I know Jared. I think Jared went, or he
Maybe.
didn't go. And,
I don't know.
And I don't know if. Yeah, it was just us. Yeah, because we went to that wildlife refuge, and you had a spotlight on you,
And you saw the alligators, right?
yeah,
The eyes.
the eyes, yeah. And then I was talking to Nick and Trey, and I was telling them that I think we went to IHOP after that, or
Waffle
Denny's,
House.
the Waffle House.
Waffle House.
We tried to do like an all-nighter.
Man,
like
that was so dumb. And do you remember the big cow, the giant bull that was standing in the
on
middle
the
of the road?
Yeah.
That thing was as big as the church van.
Yeah.
No joke. That was the
Dude.
biggest cow I've ever seen.
And I think you were on a curve, so
Yeah.
I didn't think
And he
we
wouldn't let us
saw it.
pass.
Yeah,
He was just standing there like, nah, not today.
He's like, fuck.
Yep.
yeah,
like-
man.
He's like, and your plans. You're stuck.
And
So yeah, the
what's it
Go
called?
ahead.
And Nick, I think was the caffeine pills. You remember the caffeine?
Oh yeah,
pills?
caffeine pills.
yes. Oh my god, dude.
On top of that, think about it.
Never get
Hey,
out.
little kids, jump in the white van. Let's go to a sketch hotel. Here's some pills too. You know what I mean? Just
Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god. Man. Wow. Yeah. I was you guys should not have been under my wing.
Yeah, I was saying that too earlier because I was like, man, what were like not only like everyone's letting you do that, but what were our parents thinking? Just like they're like, oh no, it's with the church. It must be safe. It must be good.
go on, get out there. Go out there. Go ahead.
But I was actually just remembering right now, like the perfect start to this whole trip. Once we were leaving in the church van, I remember I was sitting down next to the door because I think there was like a little window kind of down. And I think there was these guys passing by, and I just threw them a peace sign. And I think we ended up racing those guys like after that.
That's what we knew. That's what we knew.
Because
In
Jusslin
the church van.
likes to race in the church van.
I remember
Allegedly.
I told Pastor Pignon one time. Yeah, allegedly. I remember I told Pastor Pignon one time, I was like, man, this van shakes so bad at like 75 miles an hour. And he's like, why are you doing 75 miles an hour in the church van?
Gotta represent it, dog.
I remember on the way to Beaumont, I think you got a call, Justin. Was it from Philip's mom or dad? Because he was supposed to go, and you're like, oh, we're in Bishop already.
I felt so bad, man. I still feel bad about that.
And you're like, we're in Bishop. Oh my god, man!
Were we just thinking like he's just waiting there at the church?
Yeah,
Like, oh, where's everybody at?
where you guys at?
Damn.
He's probably thinking to himself, man, everybody else is really late.
Come on, guys. Come on. What are we doing?
Oh man, that's great.
Dude. So yeah, I think the first trip was more about us going in to help a church just from my hometown, and I wanted you guys to experience that, And I'll tell you this: as much as I messed up, as much as I've messed up in life, I've always been somebody who teaches by experience. You know what I mean? And I felt like taking you guys out there at such a young age, and y'all just being so ready to work and just do stuff for God and church, like that. I thought that y'all would just have a blast and a spiritual experience that you couldn't teach inside of a building at a pew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we all grew from that trip. I mean, good Lord, we had some crazy fun, some unsupervised. In my defense, I was left unsupervised as well. So. But we had crazy experiences, and it was a crazy trip. But that first trip sparked something that when we went back, that boys only blew up so much that girls only started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it started a fire in you guys that you just wanted to keep doing stuff and keep working. And we kept getting so much done. And then the second trip, man, I thought there too, me. But the second trip, I feel like was so much better because we actually went there with the spiritual purpose. Like we were there to touch people's lives. We were there to, the dramas, the skits, like y'all's, just how active we all were and creative. Like I think back now on stuff that I do for jobs, and I'm like, you have no idea what I've been through in life, what we've done. Anytime I ever hear the song The Little Mermaid come on, I think of me and some people doing a skit to The Little Mermaid.
Right, think of that Toby Miguel skit. That's what I think of every time I hear that song.
Dude, what's crazy is I walk through, like I was telling my girl about it, and I'm like 6 foot, full of tattoos from the freaking neck down to my ankles. And
shout out.
And yeah, thank you. But like when I hear the Little Mermaid song come on and I tell her about the skit that I did, she's like, "What? Like you look like this big scary guy and you're rolling on the floor letting people spray water in your face, acting like a Little Mermaid."
Didn't we use like somebody spit? Didn't somebody like chug bottle water and just?
Yeah, it was Toby.
Yeah. Drank some water and just.
He was all for it. He was like, "This is for you, Justin, for always talking about my mom."
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, it's funny.
That's what you get for hitting on my mom all the time.
Allegedly.
How is your mom, Nick?
My mom's 35, man.
35?
She's 35. My gosh. Not today, Justin. Not today. Man, but man, that first trip, I'm still trying to remember. We were there only for like a weekend, right? Or like
I think so. Like I say, it's all a blur to me. But what do y'all remember about the second trip? That's what I need my memory jogged on that one.
For that one too, I don't remember much. Like,
I remember on the second trip, I remember we took.
That's where Trey almost died, right?
Wasn't the first trip almost died like 3 times?
Yeah, the first trip for sure he almost died.
Yeah.
So the seatbelt thing, I remember the seatbelt thing. How did I die with the seatbelt before we get away from it?
You went to hop out of the vehicle and it like wrapped around your neck and your arm. And you were like, You're like, and we're like, what the crap? And again, I think Miguel's the only one that ran to save you. He was ready to cut the seatbelt. He's like, come here, seatbelt.
Yeah, there we go. Come on.
So that had to be the first trip for sure. It was that church van. That church van was crazy. But the second trip. What were you gonna say, Miguel? What about the second trip?
It was more.
Well, I just remember the second trip being around the church a lot more. Like we were doing a lot. We were living at the church, we were staying there. And but to be honest, I don't remember going out of the church and venturing and doing stuff like we did the first time.
we had chaperones the second time around.
Yeah. So that's
we had real adults.
I was telling Nick, and Trey, I'm like, man, the second time seemed more, I guess, structured, and tamed, and so we had, dude. I remember one time we were sleeping we were sleeping where the kitchen's at, and Nicole's mom walks in,
Yeah.
and you're like, sister, what? And you start covering your nipples. Oh my god, dude! Oh man, I remember that, and then I remember
Toby ran with that. He made so many jokes about that.
and wrestling. I remember we would wrestle.
Yeah.
When everyone was asleep, they'd come and hey, we can hear you guys, like, you know. Oh my gosh! So more than anything, I remember stuff like that. You know, like
I think for the fact that Jusslin was still like the oldest guy there.
Yeah.
Like all the chaperones were like the women, like on that side.
Yeah.
There was no male chaperones, right?
No, there were no male chaperones.
No, I think you were the one for the.
You're the one
for the boys. Yeah.
So check this out. I remember there could have been moments like the first trip, but what was Nicole's mom's name?
I don't remember her name, to be honest.
What was her last name?
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
So I'd be like, look, Sister Rodriguez, you know, like I was thinking we could go do this or that. And she's like, no, mijo, that does not sound like a good idea to me. I'm like, are you sure? It seems like a lot of fun. She's like, no, I don't think the pastor would appreciate that. There were a lot of moments where we could have, but you know, there was a smart adult there to say, no, it's probably not a good idea.
That's probably why she was sent. Because I was saying earlier, I was like, they saw that video that we made of the first trip with like Trey jumping off the bridge and everything. Gosh. And they're like just having like a checklist, like we can't do that, can't do that, can't do that.
No racing in the church bag,
with alligators.
Can't do that.
Oh man, but
yeah, they probably did. They probably, now that we had video evidence of everything that we went through.
I know.
And there wasn't even like much for us to do either over there. Like we didn't have to go over there to work. It was like we just had to go and do a service. I feel that's what we were going there for.
Oh yeah, because there was no church to rebuild this time. It was already rebuilt, and this time we were just going to minister.
Yes, and we did go. We did realize it was the second trip, but we did go with your dad. I think horseback riding.
Oh yeah, and he got bucked off the horse.
Yeah. He got bucked off the horse. So that was, I think, the only thing that we did outside of the church, because everything else, besides that, we were like going around the neighborhoods, passing out flyers, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. And we had did we barbecue or something, or did we feed people, or no?
Speaking of barbecue, I remember the first trip me and Nick tried boudin, and man, I still miss that stuff, dude.
Boudin,
yeah.
Boudin.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh, and what was that restaurant you took us to?
Oh yeah,
they had gator, right?
Altees or something like that.
Oh, Altees.
Altees, is it Altees?
Yeah.
That was the first time I had alligator. Yeah.
The first time I had anything but Mexican food.
Mm-hmm. Shout out.
Yeah, I remember that, and didn't we go to one of your friends' house?
That was the second trip.
Was it that?
Oh yeah, maybe Eric.
Yeah.
There you go.
There was the second trip when we first got in. I know, like when we first got into wherever we were going, there was we did stop at someone's house and they had like a whole bunch of food to feed us.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that was Eric, or his girlfriend's mom's house or something like that.
Yeah, I remember us doing that.
Trying to get out here, my internet was crapping out.
Oh, okay.
He's out there. Man, but yeah, just Jesus.
There's so much to go. Like the fact that we can't remember.
Yeah, it's like to go over. Just man. But yeah, man. To your point, like just like you were saying, like the first trip, it was like it's. I was telling Nick, like it's like it's. I don't like the word life changing, but it sticks with you. It's like a lot of lessons there you kind of learn. It sticks with it. Even to this day, it's just like, yeah, it's it's to the point that we're all talking about because it's like crazy. If we like, yeah,
Dude, it is life changing, you know, and in all sense of the word, or in all aspects of the word. But you know, a good memory I have of the second trip, now that I'm thinking about it, I remember we did a service in that gym, and I remember that we worked so hard at putting our heart and soul into those services, into those skits and stuff like that, that became like almost like a spiritual moment for us when we're doing it, because we were actually worshiping in the act of doing these skits and stuff. But anyway, I say that to say this: we were so heartfelt and so passionful with what we did in those skits and stuff. People saw that, and they saw God moving through us when we did stuff like that. And I remember Chris, my brother, he had just gotten back from the Marine Corps, just gotten out of the Marine Corps, and I used to send Chris letters or emails all the time, and I'd say, I'm praying for you, I love you. And Chris was the type of guy who's like, man, save your prayers, because he's like, I'm big enough and I'm bad enough. If I can't do it, neither can God. I don't need your prayers. And so we still prayed for him and stuff like that, and even without him wanting us to, but we still said prayers for him. But he came and visited, and he had just got a job for the Houston Police Department, which was his dream job. And God touched him so much. I'll never forget being in that little side room of that gym and him saying, he's basically saying, I want to say a prayer of salvation. So we prayed with him, gave his life to God. And then he pretty much said, I want to quit my job as a cop and I want to come out there and serve and do what y'all are doing. The movement was so strong. That's why I say the first one was so important, because it sparked something so much that a huge group went the next time and just changed people's lives that couldn't be changed before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the first trip planted that seed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, all the dumb stuff aside, like, we were crazy. I was crazy. Heck, I had a lot less experience and I guess moral sense to me than I do now. But there was a lot of things, like you say, that's life changing. Oh crap, man! I got a goose chasing me right now. Hold on, man. Let me see if I can show you guys this real quick. All right, man, I'm leaving, dude. Back up. See if he might chase me. Yep, here he comes. See, here he comes. Here he comes. So much. Get out of here. Go on. Go on. Go on.
They do move in herds.
Go about your business. Jurassic Park. All right. I'm leaving, sucker. Watch. The moment I turn my back, you're gonna chase me. You're gonna chase me. Boy. Okay, maybe not. All right, we're good. Here it comes.
He's being watched.
Sorry about
camera.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, I think that first trip definitely planted that seed that the second trip became into, and it did change a lot of people's lives. Yeah. I know it ended crazy because, well, we were doing some good stuff, and I just feel like the devil had to have his hand in it somehow. But and I'm as guilty as anybody in that aspect. But I'll always have those good memories. The bad memories fade out for me. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if it's God that gives me an ability not to keep hold of it or anything like that, but in my mind, man, everybody was doing what they thought was right at the time. So
yeah,
can't fault anybody for believing in what they believe in and backing it up.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, because I even still tell people, because those are the things that we did there at the church, the 2 Beaumont trips, and even the spring break camp that came after that second Beaumont trip.
Yeah.
They were like some of the my favorite memories to look back onto.
Yeah.
And like sometimes when I tell people about it, they'll be like, "What? You did that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was fun." It's like, "Hell yeah, that was fun. It was a whole bunch of fun."
Yeah.
And there was a lot in that time frame. I felt like there was a lot that we were doing that was really showcasing, bringing everyone in. Everyone had a fire, and it was like, and I feel like it did spark first at Boys Only. Like Boys Only kind of was the center of that spark of that, and then it kind of just spread throughout the church all the way, even past spring break camp. Because I want to say that's when it was like, for me, that was the biggest. I was in it because after the spring break camp, I pretty much left, and then I was like in and out of the church.
But yeah, like you said, bro, it was awesome. What drew me was the camaraderie that we had. You know, the friendship that we built. I mean, even to this day. I mean, you know, we see each other, and we can't help but to bring memories from that trip back up.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
I was gonna say
it
real quick. Like it's Chris, to your point, Miguel. It's like we haven't spoken or seen each other in years, but we're just talking like we just talked yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like from that day.
yeah. Oh yeah, man, and I feel like it drew us a lot closer. And we have that bond. Um, and even though we haven't seen each other in years, it's like one of those things that you know this trip was the center of our friendship. And you know it just it is just something that we can hold on forever. you
Mm-hmm.
know uh, and I think that's awesome, because no matter how far away we are from each other, it's just one of those things that bring joy to my heart. Um, Having you guys, being alongside of you guys, and remembering that is just, it brings a lot of good memories for me. I think it's awesome. You know,
Yeah.
especially,
Like
especially, and you know what? Not to say anything about the second trip, but I think the fact that it was a smaller group the first time and it was just us, it just brought. I feel like it just everything was like I was a lot closer to you guys.
Yeah, it was more personable.
Yeah, it was more uh, personal, and it was just awesome because I couldn't. I remember. Uh, me waiting for that day. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to get to boys only, and then
Mm-hmm.
Jusslin coming in the van and picking us up, uh, it was just cool, man. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I
like
loved it.
that's what I like too with Justin. Is just like he would go out of his way to make sure everyone would go. Like if we couldn't get there on our own, he was like, "I got the church van. I'm gonna go and pick you guys up." I mean, he
Yeah.
went to La Feria for you. He went to Lyford for me a couple times,
Yep.
and that
Started
was
3
great.
and I ended up back in the church by like 6 or 7.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Philip did get to have a lot his like little piece of the trip with him. I'll bring this up because it's just funny. Doesn't might not like it, but it's funny. But my place was the place to swim. We had my apartment. We would go swimming all the time.
Oh my God, dude! I hate you. I hate you.
Let's
So,
go.
I hate you.
Let's
So
go.
Philip ends up hanging out with us. It was just me, Justin, and Philip. We're all hanging out at the pool, and then Justin's like, "Oh guys, oh crap, I gotta take a dump. I gotta take a dump." And Justin couldn't quite go anywhere. There wasn't nowhere to go. So I'm just like, I gotta take a dump. That's it. I gotta do it right here. And he's there pulling down his pants, and he's taking a big old dump inside the pool. And he's trying to scoop the poop into the freaking water filter.
Oh my god.
And you just see corn like floating in the
Oh
water.
my god.
But there was one piece that didn't make it to the filter, and there was like a kid that came up or somebody came up to the pool and they're like, "Is that a leaf?" And they're like, and I was like, "Oh, don't touch that! Don't touch that! Here, I'll don't mess with that, man." Oh my God.
We ended up leaving soon after, and I think there was like we were like in the distance. I think we heard someone say, "Is that corn?" So,
That absolutely happened.
Oh my goodness.
And then
Oh
Justin, do you remember that time we got hit in the church van?
What?
You were dropping me off.
yeah, vaguely, yeah. I remember somebody like swiping us or something like that.
They hit us from behind.
Yeah.
They, like, smacked us, and I just remember seeing the lady. I could actually see the lady's face inside, like on the mirror, and she just
drove off.
Yeah, she drove off. She had like the she was so scared. You can see the fear in her eyes, and then she just like I think
She's
she
like, you know
realized
what would make this you know what would make this moment in life better if I fled the scene. That sounds smart.
And she was just like, I just hit a church van, and then just like, whoop, just drive off.
Later.
God, man, she was like, deuces out, man.
Audi.
It so much fun in that church van.
Yeah, we did.
The church van was as much as a part of the group as anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that church van could talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a talk, dude.
I'm glad it doesn't. It would incriminate Jusslin so much.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, Justin, what's one thing you're gonna like give out there? Piece of advice. I know you got a whole spectrum. Like, what's one thing?
One thing, piece of advice is you're never done learning. You're always going to grow. You never know everything. You know what I mean? I've realized even in life, as old as I've gotten, you know, to me, and as much as I've learned in life, the one thing that I know is I'm never going to stop learning. You're never going to stop learning. There's always room for correction. There's always room for you to step back and say, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to rethink this. Maybe I could handle this differently. There's always a way to treat people better. You know what I mean? Bite your tongue more often, stuff like that. Because, dude, life is short, and it's too short to fight. Like, at this point in life, I'd rather love. So I think that's what I mean by there's always room to grow, because there's always ways for you to learn how to love people.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is part of that love. You can't get to love without forgiveness. And that means yourself too, not just others, but yourself.
Yep. Cool.
Damn, let me go. All right, there you go. All right,
Cool.
Justin.
I like
Thank you
that.
very much.
Yeah.
Man.
That was real.
I miss you, man. Miss you too.
Miss you, man.
All right, love y'all. I'll holler at y'all later.
Catch you later.
All right. As a piece of advice,
Yeah.
I guess I get I'd give up what I'm going through now, man. Like, and you know, it's never too late to drive yourself, you know. And just like Justin said, you know, you life gives you, you know, some lessons, and you know, you have a choice. You always have a choice. Either, you know, you be better, or you just roll with it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I always strive to be better than I was yesterday. And one of the things that I'm living by at the moment, and that I'm practicing, is the tomorrow me gonna be proud of the decisions that today's me is doing. And you know, I take that and I use it in every aspect of my life. You know, as a father, you know, I got, as a husband, in my life, as at work, you know, with people. It even goes up to my workouts. You know, I mean, are my decisions today gonna make me happy tomorrow? And you know, and that just changed my life dramatically. It was kind of like an eye-opener, you know, because, you know, so many times, you know, we wake up tomorrow and we say, dude, why did I do that? You know, why did I do that yesterday? You know, sometimes we regret the decisions that we make. And if you can be happy with, you know, the decisions that you make today, and you can be happy with them tomorrow, then, you know, screw what anyone else says. You know, it just makes all the difference in the world. And you know, and I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but I've listened to some of Joe Rogan's podcasts, and one of the things that he says is be the hero of your own movie.
Yeah.
You know, so I take that in and I say, dude, like, what would the hero me do today? Like, you know, what would I do to save the world today in my own life? You know.
Yeah.
And that is something that right now I'm living by. And to be honest with you, it's kind of changed me for the better, you know.
Yeah.
But if I could tell anyone anything, it'd be that, you know, if the tomorrow you is proud of the decisions that today's you makes, then, you know, that's good.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
It's dope, man. It's dope.
Siempre very good.